Hello everyone, and welcome to the Anatomy of Knitting episode 42. My name is Erin and I'll be your host. It is currently August 16th, 2012, and it is a Thursday, I believe. I've had since Monday off from work, and I'll have until next Monday, so I'm not really keeping track of the days as much as I usually do, but yeah, it should be that. So in this episode, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update about what's been going on. I'm going to talk about what's been on the needles, off the needles, and then some spinning. So let's get started. So a bit of an update. I know, again, it's been a while since I recorded. I fully intended to record a little bit earlier. However, just sleep has been taking over my life. I'm currently out of the first trimester. I'm sort of in the... I'm going to leave that in because that was Lola. She's very silly, and apparently she wanted to say hello. So, okay. Yes, still sleepy, in the throes of the... Let me pick up something. She catapulted there. Cats, what are you going to do? Okay, throes of the second trimester, but, you know, I guess making two people is very hard. And my body just wants to take a nap every day. So every time I've, wanted to record, I've just been way too sleepy. And so... that's what's been going on, unfortunately. So I'm going to change my little recording schedule and hope to record about twice a month now instead of 3 times a month. I think that will be a little more achievable for me, and so we'll see. We'll see how things go. And then I'm sorry if the sound quality is a little bit different. You can probably, from what you can usually see in the background, the room is much more empty right now. This is the room that's going to eventually become the nursery for the twins, and we just ended up buying the 2 cribs that we're going to need, and so I need to get my little butt in gear and finish getting this room cleared out. It's about 90% there, which is good, but I gotta finish up the rest of it, so that's a little bit bad. So that's it with the little bit of a update there. The other thing that I just wanted to warn you about is my husband is getting our carport redone, and that's involving what we're doing is we're going to dig down to the foundation of the house. That way, if we ever want to expand this upstairs, you know, to go across the top of the carport, we had to do this to prepare for the future. So, right now, nobody is here working. However, that could change while I'm recording. So if there are any weird transitions, you know, I suddenly cut and end up recording later, that's what's going on. I anticipate getting this whole thing done before anybody comes here to work, so we'll see. They're planning on breaking up the concrete today, so... I'm trying to get this done fairly soon because I don't think you all will want to hear that. So that's it for the update. So what's on the needles? Unfortunately, there's not too much, and I'm sort of kind of cheating with one of them that I'm going to tell you about because I haven't actually cast it on yet, but you'll see. So the first thing I have needs 2 ends woven in. So technically it's practically an off the needles, but because I have to sew in those 2 ends, I decided I would be an on the needles one. So this is an offset Raplin. It's by Sarah Morris. I knit this using Classic Elite Yarns Classic 150, which I had left over from, I want to say the Nordique. No, it's not Nordique Swing. It was a lacy sweater that I had knit probably about a year ago. It might be the Nordique Swing. I'll put it down at the bottom. So this was the yarn left over. I had 6 balls left over. And so I knit this sweater. This is going to be for one of our babies. I used US 6 needles to knit this sweater. It's constructed from the top down, so you cast on the stitches here underneath the collar. You end up knitting on the collar later. You do raglan shaping, then you knit for so many inches here. Then you do the mistake rib at the bottom. You go back and you knit the sleeves, doing some shaping there. Both sleeves, and then you pick up and knit the collar, and then pick up and knit the button bands. So right now I don't have any buttons picked out because I'm waiting to see the genders that the babies are. We will find out next Wednesday, so that's exciting. So that's one little sweater, and I knit the, I believe, 0 to 3 month size. So twins are usually smaller at birth, so I don't anticipate that I'll be having these on the twins like right away, but hopefully pretty soon. So that's that sweater. So as soon as I'm done recording, while I'm waiting for this to compress, I'll sew these ends in, and then I'm going to cast on my other on the needles, which technically it's not on the needles yet because the needles are right there. This is Volmise in the, oh goodness, Versuchsengten. I am very horrible, awful. I totally butchered that. There's the name. And as you can see, it is blues, purples, and black. It's very pretty. And what I'm going to be knitting is the newborn vertebra cardigan. It's similar, I'm going to say it's similar to the featherweight cardigan, in that it's a stockinette stitch cardigan, but it doesn't really have fronts. It has, you know, I'm going to say button bands, but there's no buttons involved, but the button bands kind of on the sides here. So if there's any droolage or spit upage, the babies shouldn't do that on the beautiful Volmise. This is, well, that's our phone, sorry. This is Merino Superwash, so it should be easy to launder. Oh my gosh, this is totally going to be like the chaos episode. Let's see, what else can I say about this? It's going to be knit on US 2 and US 3 needles. And again, as soon as I'm done weaving in those ends for the offset Raplin, I'm going to cast this on. And I believe the offset Raplin and definitely the newborn vertebra sweaters are both free patterns on Ravelry. Oh goodness. Yes, this is our chaos episode. I'm gonna go take care of this stupid message. So the phone number that we have is for this one person who I guess always gets calls from debt collectors, so that was just a debt collector call for somebody who doesn't live here. Goodness. Okay. So that is everything that's currently on the needles, and then I have a plethora of things in the next segment, so let's get started on that. So for off the needles, I have been very busy this way. I have finished many things. And the first one I finished is the Sock Summit cowl. And you'll remember this is the unique green sheep fingering weight yarn in the Ascent Gradients. And what it was is it was 4 smaller skeins of each of these colors. This was one of the colorways that was entered into the Dye for Glory contest for the first Sock Summit. They didn't do that for the most recent one. This was knit on US 4 needles to get nice and drapey. And then I haven't, unfortunately, blocked any of these finished objects, but this is what the cowl will look like on. So it's exciting. It'll be nice when it's winter time, because it's very long, so it's going to compact, you know, and there will be a lot of wool around my neck, so it should be nice and warm. So that's number one. I think I knit this a little bit on the small side. I'm hoping that with blocking that will make it a little more drapey. Let's see. And then I really ended up liking these transitions that I decided to do. Instead of the so many rows of this green color, so many rows of this other color, I think it's like 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, to transition the color. I just did a purl ridge when I ran out of the yarn for the one color. And I liked this, the way this ended up a lot better, I think. So that's finished object number one. I told you everything that was pertaining to that. The next thing that I finished, and again it hasn't been blocked, although the cats apparently have been using all of my finished objects. This is the Stripe Study Shawl by Vera Valimaki. This was knit on US 6 signature needles. This is Hazelnut's Artisan Sock in Laguna and Chocolatier colorways. And the Chocolatier is the brown and the Laguna is the blue. And if you'll remember, this is one of the this is a shawl that's done with short rows, so one side it's asymmetrical, one side is shorter than the other. So like that. Let's see if I can, there we go. I love Hazelnut's Artisan Sock. This is like one of my favorite sock yarns to use. It's got great colors, a great hand while you're knitting it, and then once you block it, it's lovely. So I'm trying to think anything that I did out of the ordinary. I don't think so. I think I knit this to pattern. I think I ran out of the brown yarn before. No, I didn't run out of the brown yarn before. You're supposed to knit like 4.5 inches of this brown before you cast off, and I don't think that I had to cut that short. So that is the Stripe Study Shawl. I did this on the US 6 needles, and this was a nice, easy pattern to do. Once you got through the first couple of short rows, it was pretty easy, and I didn't need the directions after that. I do believe that I ran out of blue. I think I was supposed to do one more stripe, but as you can see at the end, these stripes get pretty wide, and I don't believe I had enough to finish. I think it was a 12th stripe. I think there's only 11 here. Yeah, that looks like 11. I won't bore you with the counting. So that's the Stripe Study Shawl. So I need to block that, and it's the whole thing with this room being in transition and not really having a fiber room anymore. It makes things harder to block, so that's why a lot of this stuff hasn't been done, unfortunately, because there's new room. So the next thing that I finished are my Sweet Georgia Superwash socks in the Sunsets and Car Crashes colorway. I knit this using Knit Picks US 1 fixed needles. Just my usual 1 inch of ribbing, and maybe about 4 or 5 inches of cuff, slip stitch heel, regular gusset, stockinette foot, wedge toe. My work socks, stuff that I did at work while I didn't have anything to do at 3 o'clock in the morning. Helped keep me awake. So I haven't picked the next stockinette stitch socks that I'm going to do at work, so I need to do that pretty quick because I'll be going back to work on Monday. So that's those. There's not really much more that I can say about about those stockinette socks. And then the last thing that I knit is another offset wrapline. This is the first one that I knit. second. Like the other one, it doesn't have buttons quite yet. It's the, I think, 0 to 3 month size. And then just to show you what I did to make it a little different, is you'll see that this is an asymmetrical opening. So I did the larger opening on one side for one, and then I flipped that for the other, like so. So they're not completely identical. And in the pattern, they have, on the finished one, they have a little like felted octopus there. So I was thinking of finding like a patch or some sort of felted something to sew on there when I was all done and we knew the genders and all that good stuff. But because we don't know the genders yet, it remains plain. And you'll see that this one has all of its ends woven in. And I will find buttons for this one later. So, 2 baby sweaters. And these are the first things that I have knit for the twins, which is exciting and slightly scary all at the same time. And it's all the same information as the previous one. It's Classic Elite Yarns Classic 150, US 6 needles, and I think that's about it. It's exciting. I think that's it. Yep, for everything that I have been knitting and finished. So next we're going to move on to a new segment. So the new segment is going to be called In the Queue. And this is something that's new that I've queued since I last spoke to you all and that I'm really excited about. And what the first thing is Knit a Monster Nursery by Rebecca Danger. And I'm really excited about this. Let's see if I can show you all of the cool projects that's going to be in this. So there's lots of monsters. Let me see if I can kind of hold that up with my chin there. And then you can scroll up. This is all on Ravelry. So there's monsters that you can knit, monster stuffed animals. There's a hat, there's a couple of sweaters. There's a ring stacking game thing. There's a mobile that you can knit, and there's booties and some blocks. And it's so very cute. Unfortunately for me, this is not coming out until November 2012. So timing-wise, it doesn't really work out for me. But I still think it's super cute. I'd love to knit practically everything that's in here. I think what drew me to it is the mobile. I'm going to pull that up so you can see. So there. Isn't that the cutest thing? I love this little robot that's hanging upside down. Not robot, but monster. So there's that. So that's the thing that's new in the queue that I'm all excited about. And the reason that I don't think this will work out for me, at least to do too many of the projects, is I'm due in early January and probably will deliver sometime in December. And if the book comes out like in mid to late November, I'm not going to have any time to really knit anything out of it. So we shall see. I'm going to try when the time comes. It looks like the book is available on Amazon, so after I finish up here, I'm going to pre-order that, I think. So yeah, that's what I'm excited about. Why don't you tell me in this episode's thread what kind of things that you've been queuing lately that you're excited about? So the last segment that I have for today is the spinning segment. And what's happened between the last time I podcasted and today is that I attended the Hanson eSpinner retreat that was in Port Townsend, Washington. I have some video from a visit that we did to Tailored Fibers. I will include that in this episode with some voiceovers of what you are going to see. So that'll be at the end of the episode. Overall, it was a pretty good class. I really learned how to manipulate the diameter of the singles that I was spinning, and I seriously spun the thinnest I have ever spun before, and it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 fibers thick of a single. And that was really cool to be able to do that. And all you do is adjust your speed of the spinner and then the tension as well. And that was seriously all I had to do to change my diameter. I knew from watching previous videos that was what you could do, and I had tried to do it on my regular wheel, but I was never super successful. And I think that was probably just because I didn't work hard enough at it, didn't practice hard enough. Let's see, and that was a 3-day class, 2.5-day class. I learned how to also service my woolly winder, which seems really complicated when you are thinking about it, but once you see it done, it's not all that complicated. Let's see, I think that's about it for the reflections on the retreat that I did. Currently what's on my e-spinner, once I got back from Port Townsend, I had all these empty bobbins because I kept them empty, so I'd be able to use them during the retreat. So currently on that I have a Polworth fleece that I purchased a few years ago, so it's sort of an oatmeal colored, so I have that on the e-spinner. And then on my regular wheel, my matchless, I just finished the second cupcake bat out of 6, and so I'll have 4 more to do. I have the wheel up here still in the room, in the old knitting room, so hopefully if I get bored up here while they're doing all that construction, I can work on that as well. So that's it for all of the spinning things, and then the next thing that you're going to see is the machinery that you can see at the Tailored Fibers facility, so enjoy. So in this video you are seeing the Mr. Taylor prepping the Icelandic fleece. It's on a conveyor belt and it's going towards the drum carder. So it's going to the drum carder. And then here's another shot of the belt, and then there are a set of 2 of these smaller drums. There's one set there, and then you're seeing the top set there. Those are helping to card the fibers. The big gigantic drum that has the sort of Ferris wheel looking thing is the big one that's doing all the work. And then you'll see there the part with the 2 green discs is where all of the fibers that have been carded into roving go. So just another shot of those drums that help to card the fibers. The first one, here's just another shot of the back. That little shaky thing helps to get the fiber off that drum. There's a lot of chain operation towards the end, and this is the really cool part. This plastic sort of PVC looking pipe thing moves the roving back and forth, so the bump of roving that's complete is wound really firmly, like a woolly winder. And then this is a shot after it comes off of the drum with the shaky bit. The fiber goes through this and then it gets compressed a little bit, and then it gets fed up towards that PVC looking pipe. And that is the drum carder. So that's it for the episode. I hope you all enjoyed that. I'm not exactly sure when the next time that I'm going to record is. Let me pull up my work schedule. I'm going down to part-time for work in about 4 weeks, which I'm super excited about. I've been working full-time, the 3 12-hour night shifts for eons, it feels. So all I had to do was have twins to go down to part-time. So next week, let's see, I'm working Monday, Thursday, Friday. So I think the next week will probably be, yeah, I think the next time that I'm going to try to record is on Monday, the 27th of August. If not then maybe Wednesday afternoon. My husband and I are starting childbirth classes next week as well, so that's going to be on Wednesday, so I have to kind of plan things around that as well. So things are getting pretty exciting here. I think that's all it. So that's what I'm going to try and podcast next. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Sorry if it's been on the short side. It's kind of hard to tell after all of this recording. I didn't really note when I started. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of the chaos with, you know, my Lola girl jumping up and kind of scaring the bejesus out of me. And again, let me know in the episode thread what things that you've been queuing lately that you're excited about. I'd like to see. So I hope you all have a good couple of weeks, and yeah, have a good day and enjoy the summer weather. Bye.